I'm not going to show a lot of this, but this is a bracket that a local company uses. They mount instrumentation in this and piping systems. So the bracket kind of goes around the curvature of the pipe, and the instruments mount onto the slots. This is made out of stainless steel, and it's a weird gauge. It's 13 gauge or 90 thousandths thickness. Now, I didn't shop this, but it's a weird thickness, and it's kind of a specialty item. I got a price, and again, I didn't shop this price. I just got a price from one supplier for this, which is 4 feet long, 3 inches wide, 13 gauge or 90 thousandths thickness. They wanted 125 bucks for that piece of material. So the guy wanted me to make some of these brackets for him. So I kind of told him what the price would be to make the brackets. It told him what I was going to be charged for the material and what it would cost to make the brackets. And apparently, well, he balked at it. We'll start off right there. He balked at it. But apparently, they lose these things a lot. They get dropped into the piping systems or get misplaced, or I don't know how they get lost, but they get lost. So I might as well tell you, the guy does monitoring on sewer systems, or I know he does a lot of work with grinder stations, so it's kind of in a bad environment. So whether they get lost in there, I'm not really sure. Again, I don't know anything about this guy's business, so how the hell they get lost, I have no idea. But he says they get lost, or they get lost. So he asked me to give him a price on making it out of steel, and that they would just paint it or have it maybe powder coated. So what I'm going to do, I was down the local supplier, my local metal supplier. And while I was down there, I had him shear off. Now, they don't have 13 gauge steel, but I had him shear off a piece 4 foot long of 14 gauge just carbon steel sheeting, and what I'm going to do is make one for this guy, replicate this thing and make it for the guy, and give it to him and say, here, listen, before I give you a price on doing it, why don't you make sure it's going to work first. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll show you a milling. What I did is I'm going to put it in the mill, in a vertical mill, and mill these slots with a end mill. They're 3/8 wide. And then what I'll do is I'll just drill those holes in there. I'll punch them, and instead of setting it up, because it's really close to the edge, you wouldn't be able to get it into a vise and drill that, because if you put it up in a vise, usually you put some parallels underneath it. And it's too close, you would be drilling into the parallel. So what I'll do is I'll just, I've marked the holes out, I'll just center punch them, and maybe put a block of wood up on the table of the mill, and just drill the holes kind of freehand off of the punch marks into the block of wood. And just give it to him. Again, I'm just making a trial sample for him out of carbon steel, and it's not like I'm going to be running a production run of them. If I was going to be doing that, I would probably set up some sort of a jig to slot and drill the holes. But again, what I'm going to do is just show you slotting it, and then I'll probably bring you back and show you how I drill those holes in there too. Okay, so I don't have a center cutting 3/8 end mill. Well, I do have a center cutting 3/8 end mill, but that's not the one I wanted to use. So what I did is I just drilled some 3/8 hole, pre-drilled some 3/8 holes with a drill bit, and I'll just plunge the end mill down through them holes, backfeed it a little bit in some cases where I didn't get the 3/8 hole right to the end of the slot. I'll backfeed it and then put it on automatic feed so that it just goes through them. But I'll bring you back when I get it going and show it to you. So my arm's probably going to be in the way here, but I'll just plunge it down through there, lock the bit in. Going to put a little oil on it. And I've got it set on manual right now, so I'm going to backfeed that in there and bring it back, the hole back this way a little bit. And then what I'll do is just switch it over to a automatic feed.
You know, I didn't mean to imply earlier that his guys were throwing him away purposely. I mean, I have no idea, not being in the business and never done it. I don't know how they disappear. So this is only a template of the one I'm going to make. So I'm not going to give you any speeds or feeds on the milling here. If I do get this, he wants me to build more of them. I will show you doing that and how I set up a template for it.
After this is done, I'll just go through and deburr the edges and stuff. But basically that's it. I'm not going to show you doing all of them. They're going to be identical to that. I'll bring it back. That's the last slot being done. I just thought I'd show you the ending of it. I'll bring you back when I drill the holes. Let me show you this. It's again, this is my permanent solution or jig for this. It's just a doing this piece, and I'll doing this piece. Gonna let them try it, and if they like it, I'll give them a price on doing them. I'll get a price on, I don't know how even know how many they would want made. What I did is center punch that and looking for that punch mark, and I grabbed it right there. So that's that. I'll let you know what happens. So after I drilled those holes, all I did was I took a grinder with a 60 grit flap disc on it and kind of went over it, the edges and stuff. I actually put it over onto the belt sander and rounded over the corners too. I took the deburring tool and just deburred the holes afterwards, after I had gone over it with a flap disc. So after I had done all that, I put a coat of primer on it and then put a coat of black paint on it and gave it to them. So I'll let them try it out, see what they think. I'm also gonna have the guy give me a price on stainless steel, probably 14 gauge stainless steel, and see what that's going to be. Again, that's a weird gauge. It's 13 gauge, 60 or 90 thousandths thick. It's just weird. Maybe that's why the pricing was high for it. I'm not really sure. Let me. What I will do is call that guy up and have him give me a price on that. But I'll give you a shop update or let you know what goes on with that. Whether they're gonna want me to do it, even want it in steel, or what I can get it for in stainless steel in another gauge. So I'll bring you back for that.